Good morning, geeks and gamers. It's the return of the most anticipated show every single week of every single day of every single year of every single month of every single decade of every single century. I think I messed that up. But we're trying to run this stream on 3 different platforms. StreamYard doesn't want to communicate with us with the Kick link, so I'm running it through Streamlabs, capturing my screen while Ryan is running it through Rumble and YouTube. Hi, Ryan.
Our Kick channel is under attack.
Our Kick channel is under
They're after us. They saw what we were talking about on there, and they decided that they wanted to censor us.
That's how it goes, though, right?
Yeah.
How was your weekend, buddy?
My weekend was okay. I went and saw Sound of Freedom last night, finally. So I can't say I enjoyed it. Because I don't think that's the point. That's not the point to enjoy it.
It's definitely not the
holy
point.
cow, it's making waves in Hollywood, that's for sure. And I can tell you, after watching the movie, it makes all the people that are like labeling it as conspiracy theory, alt-right, that's like the really disgusting stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you can possibly connect some sort of like political messaging to this unless you feel a very certain way about child trafficking.
Yeah, it's wild. So I saw it yesterday. I tweeted about it, and yeah, it's not an enjoyable film. From you're not going to just like get your favorite popcorn and your candy and relax and have.
I had a great time watching Sound of Freedom. Like no one's gonna say that. Hopefully,
no, dude, the end of the movie, like when they start putting those the I guess statistics or the facts up on screen, it's like it just hits you like a fucking bag of rocks in the face. And it just really does put in perspective how pathetic a lot of these fake victims are these days, with their made up things to be made up problems that they're facing when there's real problems. But then it goes to another level when you see the type of weirdos that are challenging this movie and they're upset. Why are you upset that this movie is making an impact? How the hell is that the hill to die on? I'm okay with it because the people that hate us are some of the stupidest people on the planet. But oh my God, the fact that this is the movie that you are going to sit there and stand your ground. Wow. But I'm so happy it's doing well. I'm so
that's
happy
like it's nonsensical to me. It would be one thing if you get through this movie and they're like, by the way, all Democrats are pedos or something. Like that's not what this is about in any way, shape, or form. There's no type of political messaging.
No.
And at the end of the movie, like you said, when they're throwing up that stuff, they're also showing you the actual footage from these things that happened.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
From this raid, from this big thing that they set up to capture, a bunch of traffickers. Like they show you the actual footage, the CCTV footage, some of the police footage of these arrests being made to show you that, obviously, this is based on a true story. These things actually happen. He testified in Congress to all these things that happen. So it's wild that people are trying to pretend it's something it's not. They're trying to gaslight on a massive level. And I think it's had the opposite effect, to be honest with you.
It has. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all the success that we've, seen from this movie and what the future could hold for this movie, all while watching Indiana Jones fail miserably. And I haven't even talked to you in a couple of days, Ryan, but I'm curious to know what your kind of what your long-term, or I guess your forecast is for what Indiana Jones is going to end up. And we can talk about that a little bit later. But with Mission Impossible releasing now, it's over for Indiana Jones. Not that it ever seemed to start for Indiana Jones, because it didn't. I mean, what a disaster. Sound of Freedom. I mean, are we thinking $100 million is possible now?
Well, it's really going to depend for Sound of Freedom on the if it gets an international release at all. Right now, it's just domestic. We haven't heard anything about any potential dates, in the future, anything like that. $40 million in the first 6 days is pretty big. I think that once you go watch this movie and you hear Jim Caviezel's message at the end of it, which is a call to action, might even be more powerful, or just as powerful, I should say, as the movie itself. And I think a lot of people are spreading the word about it. I think this is something where usually you see very big opening weekends for these types of movies that are a little bit smaller and maybe made, like you could say, made for a conservative audience, right? That's what the push is out there about this movie, but it is widespread. It has widespread appeal. I think it's going to get out further than that, and it's going to be interesting to see what it does this week, the first couple days this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I think the momentum's there for it. I mean, a lot of people are talking about it, man. And it's going to have to require people continuing to talk about it, continuing to elevate it, and continuing to raise awareness for it. I mean, it wasn't a movie that was on my radar. You know what I mean? And obviously, it became on my radar because of everyone talking about it. And with Dana White offering, like free tickets to all, anyone, any UFC employee. Obviously, you have Mel Gibson out there talking about it. What's the dude's name from King of Queens? What's his name?
Kevin James.
Yeah, he was tweeting about it the other day. And so I'm hoping more and more people will talk about it. But yeah, man, it's been pretty crazy to watch. And after seeing it, I see why it's connecting with so many people. And it's not because it's a good time at the movies. It's not. But it's an important film to watch, and it will open your eyes up. You will, if again, as I said, if you don't get angry watching this movie, good Lord, bro. I was fucking mad. I was mad at some of the scenes. And it's not, what's weird about this movie is I kind of was worried about this too, because I'm like, are we gonna go like Cuties level with this? Because like, how do you tell the story with these children actors?
It was done really
well by
by
putting them in these horrifically terrible positions to tell the story. They actually did a phenomenal job at it by telling you what
they were
was
telling a
happening
story without
yes,
putting children in the type of
compromised
vulnerable
positions.
positions like
Yes.
we saw with disgusting stuff like Cuties. Yeah.
Yes, and that was one of the things I was looking at going, because I was thinking to myself, man, I'm really going to be in a tough spot because I'm going to have to call this movie out if I feel like putting children in tough spots just to tell the story that is necessary. You know what I mean? And when I was watching it, I was anticipating that, and thankfully that you don't. It's done very respectfully, and that was a conscious decision that you clearly saw from the filmmakers, because they had the right intentions in mind the whole time. The whole time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's about protecting children. That
Right,
was the
right,
purpose of
right,
this movie.
right.
And I said in my review that, and Jim Caviezel mentioned it at the end of the ending message. Movies are all about storytelling, right? And this is not a perfect movie. I think there's some editing and some pacing issues, and some of the acting is stiff at times from a few people. I think Jim Caviezel gives a really good performance. But the point of a movie is to tell a story and make you feel something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think virtually every single person that goes to see this is going to feel exactly what they're trying to put across by the end. And I think it's incredibly powerful.
Well said. Well said. We got some peeps up in here. We got some new members. Ella, let's see, where did it go? Ellie, Reen, is that how you say that?
Ellie Reen,
Gifted 10 Geeks and Gamers subscriptions, or I guess you call them memberships over here. I guess I'm confused because we're on all these other platforms. They call it different things. Memberships. That's what that's a consistent name for it, is membership. So thank you, Ellie. We appreciate that so very much. The square root of 47 equals D-Day Cobra with a smiling, laughing emoji. Thank you. Typical Hijinks says, here's some money for those Geeks and Gamers retro action figures. If the figures are too expensive, maybe just some mini posters with the artwork. Hail the 199. Chat froze for a few minutes. I think it's back and running now. So yeah, if you guys missed it, Donnie Danko is the person that designed these, and look at that, man. Look at that. And mine's not the only one, but he's working on more. And I've actually talked to him about this. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen as a G.I. Joe fan. And look, all I know is everybody, when you saw this, you were like, yeah, Jeremy, hey, bet maybe don't sell gay plushies, maybe sell action figures. We'll buy that. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I don't know what the options are for toys are expensive, man. So I don't know, but I think it's super cool, and I appreciate that. He also made me a banner yesterday. So he gave me that banner for Twitter. So that's awesome. So love it seeing that crap, man. It is awesome to see. CJ, Ryan, great reaction video on Sound of Freedom, even though it was a heavy topic. Thank you for amplifying this. The successes movie shows mainstream media is becoming irrelevant. Independent creators matter. Absolutely. And it was funny. Did you see my tweet yesterday?
Yeah, it took off. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really confused as to how anybody can misinterpret what I'm saying unless you're just actively being a contrarian for a contrarian's sake, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But I said we're in the beginning stages of independent media, films, comics, and games taking over completely. It won't happen overnight, but the foundation is being laid and momentum is building. There's nothing the freaks can do to stop it. And we had people like quote tweeting, and they're like, well, we can't become what we hate. There ain't no fucking we in independent content creation. There's just a bunch of individuals. There's no like, do you not understand what independent content creation is? It's literally, it could be people on the left. It could be people on the right. It could be people in the middle. It could be people that don't fucking care about politics. That's what independent content creation is. Decentralized people that are doing their own thing without a single narrative to follow. That, and then of course the people decide who they want to follow. In a way, it's what YouTube used to be. Essentially, that's what YouTube used to be, was a decentralized, mass group of people that were able to create their own, voices and build their own following without a central focus or ideology that navigated where they went. And that's what I feel is happening right now. And again, in the beginning stages. Now, like right now, Ryan, who's more prominent, Tim Pool or mainstream media?
I mean, like I would probably say who's more important, probably Tim Pool. Now that Tucker Carlson's off Fox News.
Yeah. And obviously you can still say like, oh, they get a lot of views, but it's like Tim Pool is making more noise than the mainstream media is. That's just a fact. You don't have to like Tim. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of Tim, but I mean, the man is crushed it. He is more important. That is insane to think about. That is insane. And that is the future. As we continue to move forward, that's the future. Go ahead. I know you had something you wanted to say.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with when you look at mainstream entertainment, whether you're talking about Hollywood, whether you're talking about comic books, whatever, it's all kind of crumbling because of like the way that they've built this stuff. We're looking at all these movies right now, two successive movies with Indiana Jones and The Flash that are from studios who've been around for a long time with massive fucking budgets, and they couldn't come close to recouping. They're going to be multi-$100 million losses for both of these companies. And it's almost like the way that what filmmaking is turned into, with all these different writers, with all these different, whether it's unions, actors guilds, all these things, they're all taking a piece of this pie. And it's gotten so ridiculous that it's almost like there's no money that's being made in the town anymore. That's how it feels. So that's part of it. They're going to need to adapt and treat themselves more like independent creators in terms of letting people have their visions, in terms of paring down some of these costs, in terms of actually caring about profits as opposed to what they're doing now, because it's not going to last the way it is. So
no,
it is only a matter, like we're seeing, like you said, I think we're seeing the beginnings of a massive, massive change. What that means, will people adapt to the current entertainment industry? Will they just let themselves completely crumble? Who knows? But there's no doubt that it feels different right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, from the gaming side, like independent gaming, I mean, obviously you're still kind of dominated by a lot of the AAA stuff, but like independent gaming is huge. Like Nintendo Switch sells a lot of independent games on their eShop. People don't really realize that. Steam has a massive group of games that are independent games. BattleBit Remastered just moved 2 million units. Four guys made BattleBit Remastered on a shoestring budget. Sold 2 million copies, was #1 on the Steam charts. Many people, and I don't play Battlefield, a lot of people are saying these four guys made a better Battlefield game than EA has, in recent years. That's the future. And again, we're in the beginning stages of it. Going to take time. Going to take a long time. Let's see who is funding this company. Like
What
Geeks and
company?
Gamers, the people in the chat are the people that fund what you see here, sir. And that's why we're able to do what we're able to do. The people make G&G go, if that's your question. And yeah, that's it. That's the people. That's the people that fund it right there. So yes, we answer to the people in the chat as always. So shout out to the 199. All right, let's get into some topics, Ryan. What is our first topic?
I mean, we might as well talk about Sound of Freedom a little bit.
Yes, let's do it.
Since we started off the conversation that way, Sound of Freedom from its opening day, when it had a higher 4th of July box office total than Indiana Jones, obviously some caveats involved, had some Monday previews, and also had the pay it forward plan that Angel Studios is using. But nonetheless, the fact that on 4th of July, Sound of Freedom was the #1 movie at the box office, while Disney's Indiana Jones box office disaster sank to #2, was a pathetic embarrassment for Disney, but they continued to have good momentum throughout the week. And now, here as we sit, opening 6 days for Sound of Freedom, an independent movie with a budget of $14 million that's been sitting on a shelf for 5 years, took in $40 million. And on a per theater basis, took in more than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny this weekend. And that's with the mainstream media having an all-out attack against this movie. Human trafficking film Sound of Freedom trashed by liberal outlets as QAnon adjacent. And of course, when you look into some of these, it's not surprising that like Rolling Stone defends cuties, yet has a big problem with Sound of Freedom. Same thing with the Washington Post. It's pretty disgusting and degenerate, to be honest with you. But it's hard to oversell what a massive success this is for Sound of Freedom at the box office. And obviously a powerful message.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. We are at a point where they have decided to attack this movie. There's no scenario where any normal thinking person would do this. You have to be a deranged psychopath to go against this movie. And that's the hill that they want to die on. Go for it. Please do it. The fact that our haters are taking an opportunity to stand against Sound of Freedom only helps us, only makes our entire point even that much stronger. And it is opening up a lot of people to the corruption going on for people on the left. And a lot of YouTubers are going to get put into a tough spot because a lot of these YouTubers like to walk the line, they like to ride the fence, and they don't want to take any stands. And this is the wrong movie to ride the fence on. Obviously, finally, the big dogs are getting involved with it. Drinker, he had a review. Jeremy Johns, I know Gary's going to be watching it today, as a matter of fact, which, I mean, these are guys that you would anticipate, but these are some of the bigger guys. But there's a lot of these guys in the movie sphere that they're going to catch a lot of hell from their audience if they decide to review the QAnon movie and positively say, so you know what I mean? A lot of them are going to avoid even putting themselves in that position. And that's going to say more about them than anything. This movie transcends politics. It transcends ideology. It transcends anything because it gets it back to the core foundation of protect children. How is that controversial? How is that controversial?
It's weird. It's very strange that all of a sudden a movie about protecting children is somehow just so inherently far right.
Yeah.
And a statement like leave children alone is somehow an anti-LGBTQ message, right? It really makes you wonder where things are headed here if that side is labeling these things as such. But really, once you go and watch the movie, it just is even more crazy that it's being attacked that way because I could understand if there was some sort of political messaging. I could understand why people would be upset. There's none. There's nothing political about it. There's nothing right versus left. There's some references to God, but I wouldn't call it a religious movie. You know, there's some points where faith matters, and there's a great line, God's children are not for sale. But it's not like this movie is like, you know, trying to convert people or something like that. It's simply trying to expose the reality and the horrors behind human trafficking and child trafficking, not just for the innocent children that are involved in it, but for the families of those children and for the people who have committed their lives to stopping that thing and the horrors that they go through day after day to try to put an end to true evil in the world.
Yeah.
It's a powerful movie with a powerful message, nothing political about it. And if you're trying to convince people not to see this movie because of political reasons, there's something really fucked up with you.
And honestly, if it had a pro MAGA message, I'd be the first to criticize it because I think that would only hurt whatever the point of the movie would be. If it had any right wing talking points, it'd be like, why the hell are you doing this? This is not how you get your message across at all. It doesn't. It doesn't have any of that. None. That what have we always asked for? Like, leave your politics out of it. They left I don't know their politics. You know what I mean? And especially based on the movie, I don't know it. So again, man, this movie is going to continue to have it's already a success. Already. It could not make another dollar today and it would be a success. That's just not the reality of the situation. The reality of it is it's going to make money and it's going to continue to make money. And if this thing can do $100 million worldwide, what a massive achievement. And this is bigger than box office. This is bigger than revenue. This is bigger than profits. This is about waking people up to something that is a massive problem. And while I knew this was a problem, and obviously this is the thing that we should all be concerned with, this is what puts it in your mind as to, no, this is a lot bigger problem than you realize. You know what I mean? And that's the thing I'm most thankful for this movie over. So hopefully everybody goes out and sees it. Again, it's not like you got to walk away going, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. The artistic style and the acting and the structure and the pacing. No, you can criticize all of these things about the movie. That's 100% fair. But the overall message is what is the most important thing here. But it is a well done movie.
It's a well made movie,
not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but a well done movie, and it drives its point home while telling it in a very articulate and respectful way, considering you had real world children in the movie that you had to tell the story with. And that to me is the best part of it, like in terms of from the filmmaking standpoint.
Yeah, it was incredibly powerful. So I highly recommend every single person go watch it and judge it for yourself.
Oh yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Where are we at? Let me see. Jay Salty Tank says, if you divide corn from pop, you get Geeks and Gamers. Suspect? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. I got that one. Let's see. The Exalted Patriarch says, white leftists, let's see, don't want this movie to succeed. Anything that takes away from what? Blix people? What does that mean?
From black people,
maybe black people, maybe being slaves, America will not be tolerated. Independent creators and loyal fans will change the culture. Support those who support you. Maybe it wouldn't let you say black in the comments.
So there is a little bit like there's a little bit of like truth to what he's saying in terms of the idea that there's more people that are in slavery right now than there was 150 years ago.
Repeat that one more time. Repeat that one more time.
There are more people enslaved right now across the entire world than there was, 150 years ago when slavery was legal. That is a tough pill to swallow for some people, like to admit that that's a reality. I'm not sure why. It's just a data point. It's just a number. It's just reality.
It's because they've been lied to so much by the mainstream to be fake victims that when the reality slaps them in the face of what we're dealing with today, and it's not centered around race or gender, then it just destroys their entire worldview. Because again, this is what the leftist mind virus, like they love that they can control and manipulate these people. They love it. They want easily manipulative people that they can spew their nonsense to, and so they can continue to stay in power. And that's why we're hated, because we don't fall in line with that nonsense.
The clear site for a buck on Rumble. Hi, all. Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Ryan. A pedo doc got killed in prison. Will not miss such a human. Well, to be fair, he just got stabbed. He's not dead. You're talking about Larry Nasser. I made a video for Sports Wars earlier today on that.
Sadly not.
Yeah, just as much as I will not miss your beard, Jeremy, get rid of all of it. See ya.
I don't know. We'll see. Hey, I did a poll on Cobra Cast, and it was like 70% told me to keep it, even though I did get rid of it. So
she didn't listen to the audience.
I did for a while. No, this was like 3 months ago.
Oh,
so yeah.
All right. Bert for 2 months. Ryan, what is Jeremy's worst movie take? I don't know. I'd have to fucking think about it, I guess. I like, to me, I don't know. I don't keep track of whatever I think everyone's fucking worst take about a movie is. If they don't agree with me, they don't agree with me.
Me it would be more the thing is people think that we agree on everything. Some of my political takes probably Ryan thinks is worse than my movie takes, so, and vice versa. Like, you know, like, still at the core we agree on stuff. It's just some of the details, you know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to, just some of the details. So that's just what friends do. They argue about dumb shit.
Yeah, I haven't kept track yet. I'll put up a whiteboard and try to remember.
Notice he said whiteboard.
I think probably the one that like we disagree about probably the most is actually on a movie. It's probably like Clone Wars as a whole. Because honestly, there's a lot of that.
That is true. Yeah. And I think Ryan has a far stronger case on that than something like his Snyderverse takes. So like, but his Clone Wars takes, I can understand. I think he's got a much stronger case there because I understand why people hate Filoni, especially people that follow the EU. You know what I mean? I understand that completely.
It's also like easier because we've seen one version of Star Wars throughout decades, right? Until Disney got their hands, until Disney got their hands on it.
Right.
Whereas I think superhero movies are so much up to interpretation because we've seen so many iterations of the characters, because every decade it feels like the characters perceived a little bit differently. Every time a new writer or a new artist comes on board, we feel a different way about that character. Like they've been built over like a century. So
yep.
That's why I think there's always so much interesting shit about comic book movies. Oh, hey, did you see the picture that Ryan Reynolds tweeted out?
I did. Holy shit. Listen.
Yeah.
We can all be upset about everything going on, but sometimes there's just an image that just hits you right in the fucking feels. And this image from Deadpool 3 with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman is amazing. Look at that, man. Come on.
They got him in the suit, man.
Bro.
Now, I really hope he puts the mask on at some point too. I really hope he does, but still,
he has to put the mask on. He has to put the mask on. You can't introduce that uniform and not have the mask. But this is what we've all been wanting from Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. To me, that is one of the coolest images I've seen, man. Like, this is crazy awesome. And yeah, you know, there's a lot to complain about. There's a lot to, you know, be upset about. This image right here, man, I love everything about it. I love everything about it.
And this got put out on, like, Ryan Reynolds put this out on his Instagram story, right? That's where this image is from. So, that's about as real as it could get, I suppose. But, you know, I think that Deadpool 3 has, I think it's probably going to do really well for obvious reasons. Look at this picture. But also, from what it sounds like with this multiverse thing that they're going to do, to me, it sounds like they're going to shit all over and mock the multiverse movies and bring back all these different characters, from Jennifer Garner to probably Ben Affleck and all these different people. It has a chance to be a really funny movie. Like that is actively mocking something that people are sick and tired of. So it might be taking the piss out of so much stuff that people are sick of.
That is such a cool shot, man. That is so cool seeing Hugh Jackman in the classic uniform, man. So what we've all been wanting. And I think Deadpool 3 will be a massive success. Deadpool 2 didn't do as much as 1, right? I mean, 1 was just a juggernaut, you know, because it came out of nowhere. Didn't 2 did less, but it still,
movie,
still did really good. Part 2 did really good. I think 1 did more, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
let me see what it did. I wanted to say 2 was around like 600 million or something like that. Um, Deadpool, the numbers. Check this out.
Yeah, it's just
The first one did $781 million worldwide. Let's see what 2 did. 2, no, they almost did exactly this. They almost did exactly the same.
really
786 million worldwide for Deadpool 2. It did better internationally than Deadpool did.
okay. So the
That's
first
massive
one,
for a fucking R-rated movie. That's huge.
so the first one did a little more than the second one, but they both really close.
Yeah, like 786 million for 2 and 781 million for the first one.
Okay.
Domestically is probably what you're talking about. Domestically, the first one did about 40 million more.
Okay. All right. Damn, that's cool then. So yeah, Deadpool 3 I think is going to be a huge success. Depending on budget, can it make Disney some money? They need all the money they can get, but even if Deadpool's a success, it doesn't really matter. They're in free fall right now. Free fall.
Yeah, it's like cool to see the pictures like that. I can't say it's something I'm excited for because at the end of the day, they're bringing Deadpool into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there's a lot of opportunities for it to not be the same as
Yeah.
it was in 2016 and 2018 for sure.
Mhm.
I guess we'll see.
Yep.
Osmora with the gift membership. Thank you. Trinoculus for 2 cuties was exploitation. Yes, it was. Opie the Viking for Norwegian 50. Maybe that's their fear. A movie that actually says something that is not a CGI multiverse superhero circle jerk. Yeah, I mean, just look at the 2 movies right now that were 1 and 3 at the box office. I guess we can fucking talk about Indiana Jones really quickly.
The
Because
disaster known as Indiana Jones. My goodness, man.
because
And I'm sorry, Harrison Ford's cringe thank you to the fans. Get the fuck out of here, man. We are way beyond that point. Nobody's buying that shit, man. That did nothing for me except piss me off even more. Now we're thinking the fans Lucasfilm, now that the money's drying up. Are you kidding me? How stupid do you think fans are? Holy shit, man.
I wonder how much they had to pay Harrison Ford to say that.
And you could tell he didn't care. You could
That's
tell
another
he doesn't.
$5 million in marketing.
Yeah, like you could tell he didn't care, man. It's just disgusting, man. So those same fans, could you not invent a racist, sexist story about fans? Could you not get a couple of random messages so you could tell everybody they're racist and sexist, like you did with what was it, Obi-Wan Kenobi? Huh? Could you not find something like that so Harrison could come out and talk about toxic fans and racist
They
fans?
killed off the black Nazi really early in the movie, so they didn't have an opportunity to do that, I suppose.
God, when I saw that, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. This is
Black
pathetic.
Nazi?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying when I saw
they really they've really opened it up to everyone, haven't they?
when I saw Harrison Ford's thank you to the fans, I'm like, get the hell out of here, man. What a
Let me see if I can
disaster.
find it real quick. I think it's on the Indiana Jones Twitter
What
account.
a complete and total disaster. I want to say hello to everyone. We've got 2,800 people here on YouTube. We're also on Kick and we're on Rumble right now. So thank you guys for being here on all 3 platforms. It is appreciated as always every single day. We try to Kick's tough because we can't get it connected to StreamYards. So we're going to continue working on it right now.
Do we have to do like a screen capture? And it's
Mhm.
fucking annoying because if you don't have at least 3 screens, it's almost impossible.
Yep.
At least to do it without it being a huge pain in the ass. So
100%. So what do you got, Ryan?
But anyway, let's speaking of sharing my screen, check this out. It got so bad for Disney when it comes to Indiana Jones that Lucasfilm was forced to do something that for the past decade they've had no interest in doing, and that's thanking the fans. Now, Harrison Ford comes out and gives his best Tom Cruise impersonation to try to convince people to actually go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Unfortunately for them, it hasn't worked. But let's listen to Harrison Ford first of all.
For more than 40 years, I've been honored to be your Indiana Jones. Every moment of this adventure has been made for you.
Also, John Williams, don't copyright claim this, you fuck.
Yeah.
Right? It's in the background.
Yes, and it's been one of the greatest joys of my career. Thank you for welcoming the man with the hat into your lives for generations. It's meant the world to me to share Indy with all of you. As always, I'll see you at the movies, unless there are snakes, of course.
I'll see you at the movies. Tom Cruise jumping out of a plane. Like, that's what this is. It's trying to emulate what Tom Cruise did, like for promotion of his movie.
He's in his kitchen, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's in his kitchen because they basically like, yo, Harrison, the movie's tanking it massively. We here at Lucasfilm have spent the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years just trashing the fans at every turn, and we finally have stepped in it. Here's $5 million. Can you please record something thanking the fans and telling them how much you appreciate it? Sure, I'm in my kitchen. Let me turn my smartphone on and record it. Like, come on, man.
This was actually the real last-minute reshoot, guys. It was this. So that's where all those rumors must have came from.
Meanwhile, Tom Cruise jumping out of fucking planes to thank the fans, you know? But yeah, do this from your kitchen real quick, Harrison.
To be fair, Harrison probably would have crashed the plane.
He probably would have.
But unfortunately for them, it did not work. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny delivers the worst second weekend box office of the franchise. And not only that, not only did it drop 56%, which again, if it had made, say, $100 million opening weekend, 56% drop wouldn't be considered too bad. When you only make $60 million, it's pretty fucking bad, because they also got beat at the box office. Nobody was expecting this a couple months ago. They couldn't have predicted that this would have happened, but here we are. Insidious flicks away Indiana Jones at number 1. Disney's very expensive franchise faces a massive loss. And you can see right here, Insidious the Red Door, which ironically I think is also the 5th installment into that franchise. Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, the 5th installment in this franchise. Very different budgets. Insidious has a $16 million budget. Indiana Jones is upwards of $300 million, and very different results this weekend. It does not get much more sad than this.
1,500 less theaters for Insidious.
Well, yeah, Indiana Jones is still probably in all the premium formats in terms of Dolby and IMAX and all these things.
Yep. So this is bad, man. I mean, again, you look, so Indy is clearly so look at the per theater average. So Insidious destroys Indiana Jones, nearly doubling it. Sound of Freedom performing better than Indiana Jones on a per theater average. And you can only imagine if Sound of Freedom was in 4,600 theaters. I'm not saying it would jumped up that much more, you know what I mean? But it definitely would have been even more than what it's at, you know what I mean? So this is wild to watch. And again, everything we've been telling you for years, the Indiana Jones is finally, they have finally stepped in it to the point where they cannot fake this anymore. It is that bad. Everything we have said, everything we've been telling you has been happening. There are outliers along the way. There's something that will be really successful, you know, but it doesn't change the overall problem that we've been seeing from Lucasfilm, and we've been seeing diminishing returns after diminishing returns over the last few years. And it's not just Lucasfilm, though. It's Pixar. It's Marvel. It's Disney. I mean, it's Lucasfilm. It's Disney as a whole. In fact,
live action remakes.
It's their theme parks. Everything. Yeah. And again, that is where it truly becomes a massive problem for them. When the theme parks are suffering, you realize that they are broken from the foundation now. The theme parks are the foundation of it, and they just saw their worst July the 4th numbers in 10 years, in a decade. And Disney adults are saying it's because it's too hot in Florida. Meanwhile, people are still at Universal. Go figure. People have never cared about the heat at Disney World, man. They've been going in mass for years.
But weird. It was busy at Universal on 4th of July. I think they're located in the same place. Not sure how that works. Also, Disney Plus losing billions of dollars every quarter. And in fact, we recently got a report a couple days ago that Max, despite all Warner Brothers struggles and all these things, Max has overtaken Disney Plus in terms of market share in the United States. So Disney Plus continue to have a problem streaming, theme parks, box office, virtually everywhere. And somehow Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny might end up being Disney's biggest flop of all time.
So what is your long range forecast on this movie? What do you think?
I-
What's the low end and what's the high end based on where we're at? What's the most you think it can get? What's the lowest you think it can get right now? Because with
I
Mission
would put it
Impossible coming out now,
I put it somewhere between $325 million and $400 million, somewhere in that range. Because right now it's sitting at about 250, I think. Because internationally, it also did not have a good hold. So it's sitting at $250 million worldwide.
damn.
Mission Impossible is coming out early, so even that's a factor. Mission Impossible coming out early, I think on Tuesday. That's when I'm seeing is on Tuesday. So it's done. Like it's going to like limp a little bit here and there. And I've said it before, there's a little bit of an older audience for Indiana Jones. So those type of movies can have a little bit better legs than most, just because old people aren't like rushing to go to the theater because they're fucking old. But yeah, I don't know. Like 325, I could realistically see it doing like 325 million.
Holy crap. Worldwide.
Yeah. which might make the marketing budget back.
Oh my goodness, man. That will, so if it finishes, let's just go for a little safer number.
It would probably be over a $300 million loss if that was the case.
Let's say it does 350 to 375. Does that make it the biggest box office bomb in the history of Disney box office?
Based off what Disney discloses and everything, I think, yeah, absolutely. So to put it in perspective, they're saying it's a $300 million production budget. It's likely higher, but let's just go with what they've said, right? 300 million. I'm sure a year from now, just like with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we'll find out it's significantly more expensive. But let's just be super conservative and say it's $300 million. Then you have the $150 million estimated marketing budget that's on this movie. At that point, you're looking at something that you have $450 million invested in. Even if it gets 400 million worldwide, you're only going to get to keep about 200 million of that, depending on where it's from. So that means that you're still 250 million in the hole. That would be worse than what they said they lost on John Carter.
You get what you deserve, Disney. And again, I know that a lot of Twitter weirdos with pronouns in their bios said that angry YouTubers are just making up this stuff for clicks. It's just not the reality of the situation. This is not complicated. When you make good stuff, people will go see it. When you don't make good stuff, people will not go see it. This is not complicated. It's why Guardians did well. Guardians did extremely well, even better than a lot of us thought it would do after the opening weekend, because I think it ended up doing exactly what I originally predicted. What did it end up? Where's it at? Is it 820, 850, something like that?
830 or something.
Yeah. My initial was 850. Then I started to see the terrible opening weekend. I'm like, well, shit, this movie clearly is in trouble, and it was in trouble. Then we went to see it. I loved Guardians 3. I thought Guardians 3 was phenomenal. And clearly audiences felt the same way because it had a lot stronger holds, but that opening weekend for Guardians was very telling as to where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is right now. And people have seen what you're doing, but ultimately they came up with a good movie. People responded. The word of mouth was strong, and word of mouth, as I've said a few times in the previous weeks, word of mouth is becoming the single biggest marketing tool for a film, which I think this is how it should be. That is independent voices allowing something to grow based on their reaction, which is exactly what I think all media should become. All whether it's the media that covers stuff, media that we're creating, movies, comics, games, whatever, independent voices. And that's the way of the future, in my opinion.
But even the problem with Guardians of the Galaxy is when you look at how much it cost to make this movie.
Yeah, it still didn't make a lot of money.
I don't even know. Like, it's questionable as to how much they've actually broken even. Because when you pull this up, here we go. It's fucking
because it's still it's not something Disney's going to write home about.
$250 million, right, for the production budget. That's what they've stated. $150 million for marketing. It's a $400 million investment. And if you look at this with a very high international split, with a lot of that money, almost $100 million coming from China, where you only get 25% of the box office. Like, it's arguable whether they've recouped their money on this yet.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me get my fucking calculator. Hold on.
I mean, this is the position that they're in, and so even like a success that's, you know, a success that's like this, it's still not driving any real profits for them.
Yeah. So like you're gonna get fit. Let's say 60. Let's say they've worked out to get 60% of the domestic box office. Usually it's somewhere between 55 and 60. But let's do here. Let's clear it. Let's do 357 times 0.6 will be as favorable as we can. $214 million that the studio gets back domestically. Internationally, we've got $86 million from China. So really $400 million from the rest of international. So 400 million times 0.4, because that's what you get internationally. That's another $160 million. And then, so what are you at? That's plus 214. So they've recouped $374 million of that without counting China. So then China, $86 million. They only get 25% of that to the theaters. That's 21. So that plus 374. And right now, they're sitting on the precipice of breaking even in the theaters for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Using the most favorable numbers. That shit is not sustainable. Like, that's your biggest hit. That's their big glowing success this year, is something that, well, it's going to break even.
Let me just for full transparency, what cut of Avatar 2's box office were they getting?
What cut of what do you mean?
Well, because that's not a true Disney production, is it? They're attached to it, but it's not. Is that a Disney film?
I have no idea. Like, I have no idea in terms of, like, obviously the production started with 20th Century Fox and agreements with James Cameron, and then Disney bought 20th Century Fox. Disney ends up with it now. But I have no idea what any of the back end deals are about how much they get versus James Cameron or something like that. To be honest, I think anybody that says they know is probably just speculating. I'm not sure.
So we can't even operate off that information because we don't know. So this would be by.
I can tell you how much the studio overall made as opposed to the theater. I have no idea where it goes distribution wise from there, though.
Yeah. How are they sustaining this? They can't. This is not something they can continue to do. The wokeness is killing Disney. It's killing every company that it's attached to. And the fans continue to be right. So impressive math there by Ryan. The chat was very impressed with your math, Ryan.
I mean, thanks. I used a calculator. So anyway, put that down.
We have 430 people watching on Rumble. Shout out to all of you over on Rumble. So that puts us about 3,600 collectively between all three platforms. Thank you guys for supporting it, whether it's on Kick, whether it's on Rumble, whether it's on YouTube. We appreciate it. All right, where are we at, Ryan?
Sorry. I was just looking up. I was trying to see if there's anybody out there that can tell me what sort of split Disney's getting, blah, 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 all of this stuff. So I'll try to look into that at some point.
Nice.
Anyway.
Damn, Critical Drinker just did an interview with Russell Brand. Wow.
That's really?
Awesome. Yeah.
Russell Crowe, then Russell Brand. Who's the next Russell he's going to bring on?
I know, look at that. Just got done. Just done a very cool interview with Russell Brand. Should be out on YouTube and Rumble on Friday. Look at there. That's awesome.
There you go.
Killing it, man. Rumble is I want Rumble to succeed. I do not like their UI at all. I just don't like it. But I love the platform and I want them to continue. I do think they're going to continue to improve. But I'm so happy. I mean, they signed Rice Gum. They have been crushing it on Rumble. And so I'm overall, I'm thankful for Rumble and I like Rumble. I just want them to improve their UI. Just like with Kick, I want them to improve their app. I actually have no problem with their UI at all. I just think their app is trash and it's got to improve. And I know they're working on that. I know Rumble's working on their UI as well. So it's great to have these platforms out there that are not, I still consider YouTube or Rumble a YouTube alternative. I don't even consider Kick a Twitch alternative anymore. I consider Kick a legitimate platform that stands on its own. I fucking love Kick. I love it. And I think Rumble's still in that just a YouTube competitor side, or let's just say shit here on you Rumble that we can't say on YouTube. I want Rumble to become a legitimate force and to where it stands on its own. And I think they're getting to that point. So
yeah, it's YouTube has a big head start on everything.
Everything.
Over on Rumble, speaking of that, clear sight for $1. Damn it. I need to spend another $1. My bad. He did not die. Okay. Your poll tries to not hurt your feelings. I don't care about your feelings, Jeremy. The beard needs to go.
All right. Thank you.
Sophie for 6. Hail 199. Any news on international release? Also, can we get some salute for the passing of Captain Corey? R.I.P. Yeah, I saw that. Very sad. Captain Corey. R.I.P. In terms of international release on Sound of Freedom, I have no idea. I know eventually it will be up on Angel Studios' website for people to watch. I know that will happen at some point in time. I just don't know any time frame on that or the international release stuff. Chikara, member for 3 months. What's up? It's so funny. FNT has the soft crowd, we plushies, and the G&G crowd are cool guys with fuck gay plushies. Give us manly action figures. I don't know. We're part of FNT and buy our plushies. No, that's not true. I think we sold over 400 of them a piece, which is kind of wild.
That's a lot.
And we had 4 out at one time
instead of 2,
as opposed to just 2 with Gary and Az. So yeah, we appreciate everybody buying those things. Hopefully they'll start shipping sometime in like September or something. Yeah.
But yeah, the action figure thing, like honestly, I've had people, I don't know, man, like there's so many things that people want us to do, and there's only like so much that like from a budget standpoint that we can do. But like I've had people say like, why don't you just put an open like crowdfund button on the website that goes direct to the Geeks and Gamers pot? And I'm like, I guess, I mean, I've never thought about crowdfunding for anything Geeks and Gamers, just because the right opportunity hasn't presented itself. But when people start bringing like action figure into the equation, a comic, stuff like that, like, yeah, I mean, that's definitely got the wheels turning for sure. But yeah, it's a lot of money to produce all that stuff, man. A lot of money. I don't have that type of money.
Nick Brown, member for 3 months. I think another advantage independent creators have is that people feel connected to the content. The mainstream media feels impersonal. 100%. Yeah, people are looking for the authenticity. There you go. There's Gary in the chat. That is a lot. We're working on something else too. Stay tuned.
Over there.
I guess we'll find out too.
Gary and Dan trying to mooch off our record live stream numbers, try to get their subs up. Fucking, it's the only way these guys
we've had this week.
It's the only thing these guys can do. They're trying to get it, like they can't get, like Gary can't pull a live stream audience himself, so he's trying to get in here and get in my chat. You know, I think that's kind of crappy. And Dan,
probably.
Does anybody even know who Dan is? Has he ever made anything that anybody's ever heard? Probably not. You only know him from the comment section here at Geeks and Gamers. So yeah, I appreciate these guys, you know, trying their best. So
still one of my favorite comments of all time was probably on Gary's Batman trailer reaction. Me and Gary had issues when it came to the Batman on our live channels. Okay. It was like, God, how does this guy have 30,000 subs?
Yes. That's somebody just linked back Gary's main channel at that point. You're like, if that made you mad, you're really gonna get mad.
Yeah. Nick Brown, member for 3 months. I think another advantage independent creators have is that people feel I just fucking read that. That is like one of my biggest fucking triggers for myself is when I reread the same thing I just read. It pisses me off. Thunderstrike for 5. Temple of Doom is my favorite Indiana Jones movie, and Return of the Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie. Does that make me weird? I will say, your favorite Indiana Jones movie is the one that Kathleen Kennedy is in. So take that how you will. But hey, no, I don't think so.
No. Hey, my favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith. Shockingly enough, it's that movie has moved up over time for me. So no, it's not the best. The best is Empire. Empire's the best. My favorite, Revenge of the Sith.
Bert Remember, for 2 months, I read this earlier. We got those earlier. Blake Barrett for 2. God's children are not for sale. Yes, they are. Yeah, it's basically the response.
Yes.
How dare you? Dirty Jersey for 5. Hollywood and the left are complicit, at least in the adjacent concept of sexualization of children, and probably more. Harvey, singer, Corey Haim, angry face. Yeah. It's wild to see the response to this movie. Desirius for 5. I wonder how Activision feels about Sound of Freedom. Man, they can't believe it's very controversial because they said leave children alone.
Yeah. Fucking assholes.
CJ for 5. Deadpool 3's success rides on how much creative control Ryan Reynolds has. It'll be a Henry Cavill Witcher situation. Yeah, if they try to tone it down, then it's not going to be very good. Joe Musashi for 2. Nice to see Sound of Freedom destroy Joyride. Yes, it did. CJ for 5. We all love when you guys meme and laugh at bad movies like Little Mermaid, but I love that you also cover major topics like this. Thank you. You're welcome, CJ.
It's what we do. But again, it's a testament to all of you guys because, and I know like Sound of Freedom has transcended just our little corner of the internet now, but you know, it got a signal boost here in our little corner of the internet. And that's what really, kind of made me realize like, man, is this movie? Because at first I started hearing about it, I'm like, is this, are people just kind of latching onto this just, as a temporary thing? And then it kept getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, I got to go watch this movie to see. And holy shit, man, blew me away. And probably like, you feel like shit when you leave this movie. You're mad. Okay. You're mad as hell when you walk away from this movie. You just are.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Chef Nick Nero for 199. What do you think funds them? Are you talking Geeks and Gamers or the entertainment industry?
Chef Nick Nero ain't talking about G&G. He knows. So,
Eduardo Cuevas for 199. Ryan with the quick video updates. That's right. That's me. Deranged Lunatic, aka DL for 199. Did you see Mecha 42 criticize Sound of Freedom? I didn't. I don't think anyone does. I'm not sure anyone pays attention to her, but there you go.
I would say that I started doing this years ago. I started this amazing thing where I just didn't watch that person. I would say that I started to do that, but the truth is I never watched that weirdo to begin with. So I never stopped doing it because I never started. So yeah,
Yeah.
My biggest regret in YouTube is that I had that weirdo on a stream one time.
That says a lot if that's your biggest regret.
Hey, that's by far. All right.
We've done other streams with people you regretted too. So
Zack Snyder, come on and not affiliate.
I meant Gavin McGinnis.
I'd rather have Gavin and his little dick on. Yeah. My biggest regret is that fucking Waldebeest. So anyway,
Waldebeest. It's like you wanted to say walrus and then you change it to wildebeest. That Waldebeest. Animating Andy becomes a channel member. Thank you. Stone Cold's beer cooler for 5 months. I hope Wolverine has the same moving white eyes as Deadpool and Spider-Man. Not sure if seeing Hugh's eyes to the masses aesthetically good. I hope he puts it on. Like, they're gonna want him to have it off to see Hugh Jackman. It's kind of how it'll work. But I hope they put it on for at least a little while in it for sure. Waldebeest and orangutans. That's what you see when you go to the zoo. Andy plays games for 10. I've only seen the first 2 Mission Impossible movies. Well, you've probably seen the 2 worst ones then. First was better for sure, but why is everyone down on number 2? I thought it was fine. Is it my perspective having only seen 1 and 2 so far? Well, 2, it's a huge departure from the first one. Like, Mission Impossible 1 is obviously, spy action thriller stuff. 2 is like a fucking slow-mo kung fu, like a little bit crazier type of movie. So learn some English, says Dan Vaz.
Yeah, as far as Mission Impossible, again, I saw Gary was rewatching it the other day. I haven't seen Mission Impossible 2 since I saw it in theaters. I did not like Mission Impossible 2 at all. I did not like that movie when I first saw it. But every other one I've loved. 1 was fantastic. 3 was excellent. And then obviously everything that when Brad Bird got involved.
4, 5, and 6 are fucking incredible.
Yes.
Like they're amazing movies.
Yeah.
So if you've only seen the first 2, you haven't even got to the best part of the franchise.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep.
George Orwell for $20.
What's up, George?
Elementals is being pushed by the shills now, is bouncing back. Anything to take the spotlight off Sound of Freedom. Well, and that's like the best news that Disney could possibly have is that Elemental is having a decent hold at the box office. Unfortunately, it was the worst opening in Pixar history. So the best hold they could possibly imagine isn't going to save them. This is a movie that is going to lose a fuck ton of money for them, undoubtedly. Johnny the Whiz Kid for 2. In a way, Sound of Freedom reminds me of Taken by Liam Neeson. Certainly, I mean, that's a movie about a girl being sold into the sex slave trade, basically. So obviously there's similarities there. But I think the point of that one is a little bit more centered on Liam Neeson and him as a father and a badass, as opposed to just addressing the issue in like shining light on the issue in general. Opie the Viking for 50. Don't diss HF. He is the man. Harrison Ford at 80. He does not give a fuck. He will always be Indiana Jones to me in 3 movies. I wonder how much it would have cost for him to do that about Han Solo, considering how much he hates that character.
Did we read her super chat? Let me see. It probably just, if you mean it disappeared, it probably from the top, depending on how much it was. Because if it appears at the top for just a brief amount of time, depending on how much the amount is, but we still should see it on the back end. So,
I mean, I said you had a member message or something, Chakar, that I read because I remember saying your name. Yeah, you had a member message, but I haven't seen a super chat. At least I haven't got to one yet.
Okay, we'll look and see. Sometimes they don't.
The back end's fucked up. It did it to me on my stream the other day, but I don't see one in the starred section either. So,
Steven Wassick, YouTube silences women confirmed.
Yeah, one of the big benefits of this platform. Steven Wassick for $20. It's not just the media attacking Sound of Freedom. Average men and women are leaving 2-star and under reviews because McQAnon and Caviezel's not woke. One might even call this behavior review bombing, but what do I know?
Yeah. Oh, crazy, man. Right? Yeah. I wonder if we'll get any articles from the mainstream media about review bombing, the toxicity. Don't think that's going to happen.
Transgender, black, disabled, 21-year-old with pronouns in bios, a mass review bomb, Sound of Freedom. Is that what we're going to hear? The Blue Futon for 5. Look at Disney Crater. $53 million budget, straight to streaming, removed from Disney Plus after 7 weeks. Another bomb. Wish I could throw money like that. Yeah, I saw some stupid show that got put on there. You got crazy budgets are out of control right now in Hollywood. Justin Proper. What's up, Justin, for 5. Insidious beating out Indy with their discount Darth Maul is a huge win for horror. Say what you want, but horror movies have been killing it lately. Horror movies in general do very well because they have small budgets. Like they have small budgets, so you can do something that's, obviously has appeal to everyone, that isn't some sort of like political message or whatever. And then also you can keep the budgets under control and get massive benefits from it. SBZ for 5. A super popular anime, Spy X Family, just announced their collab with Mission Impossible. This movie will be huge.
Yeah, Spy Family's huge. Spy Family's huge.
Bentley. Let's see. Bentley for 10. Heading home to San Diego this week, seeing Dead Reckoning on Wednesday, Sound of Freedom Thursday, then Morgan Wallen concert on Friday. Should be a good week. Ryan, your review on the movie was great. Thank you, Bentley. It wasn't even much of a review. I just kind of like spat all my feelings out in really bad lighting, and my camera looks like shit. Thank you, Bentley. Gabriel Knight for $199. I did on RCAPOS Live if anyone wants to check it out. Gabriel Knight for $199. I can't wait to see the box office for the Ray movie. I can't wait to see that movie happens.
True.
Aurora,
I personally hope please, Lucasfilm, do not cancel the Ray movie. Please. I really need this movie to happen. Please. Thank you.
Aurora Uplinks for 2. Critical Drinkers rustling up some serious interviews. Critical Drinkers fucking massive. Massive.
Yep.
Pilgrim Media for 5. The situation with Sound of Freedom really is God's work. It's a very, very powerful message. I'll continue to say that over and over, that I think everybody needs to look at. Hose A for 199. Sound of Freedom movie might be on Twitter later this month. I heard there were some talks with Elon or something about something like that. So maybe. Lord Baratheon for 5. You guys see apparently the rest of X-Men will be in Deadpool 3. They'll also wear comic accurate costumes. Thoughts? So I've heard a lot about this. I've heard Patrick Stewart's going to be in it. I've heard Ian McKellen's going to be in it. I've heard about other things from the X-Men. Imagine if they they actually do it and give them their fucking costumes they should have had in these movies.
That'll be so. Deadpool 3 is going to be a wild movie.
It is, yeah. It's gonna be crazy. Gambit, Channing Tatum's gonna be there as Gambit.
Taylor
Jeremy's
Kitsch,
excited about that.
Give me Taylor Kitsch.
Lord Baratheon for another 5. There's also some leak that Ian McKellen would be the main villain of the movie. I don't know about that. I just heard a report that him and Patrick Stewart will be in it. They're fucking old as shit. But hey, Alexander Shabilsky for 199. Could the host fist bump? No. We're in different rooms. So there you go. And Nakmaman for 2. We have a new Jeremyism, Waldabeest.
Waldabeest.
Right.
Yeah, so Waldabeest is something I've always said because I wanted to describe it as like a big fat disgusting piece of shit. Because wildebeest is not, but if you call it Waldabeest, I've always said it like that. Because like fat people. So when I was saying it, I just wanted to emphasize the fact that the person we were discussing is a fat, disgusting, ugly piece of shit. No disrespect intended.
Mike Hill for 10. Do expect the same trend for Disney in 2 weeks with the release of Haunted Mansion. I have no idea what that movie's gonna do.
Wait. If I was gonna pretend this, I would have said I meant to say Orange Gonton. That would be the one to pretend that I meant to say. Okay, Waldabeest is easily explainable. I would have loved to have pretended that Orange Gonton what was being retarded. So, yeah.
Waldabeest. TJW for 199. Thank you. And Nakmama for 10. My thoughts on Wolverine costume are the same as Jay Longbone. Take off the sleeves. Plus, She-Hulk writers wrote this movie. I also bet Elektra is the real main character. MCU gonna MCU. Yeah, it's really cool. Like some of the stuff, I think it's interesting. Some of the stuff that's coming out. At the end of the day, I don't know if they have their people's full trust because it is Disney. This is the MCU, and we'll see what they take away from Ryan Reynolds in this.
I don't think it's disrespectful to call a fat, ugly, disgusting piece of shit exactly what they are. So no disrespect intended whatsoever. None. Like I wouldn't touch that piece of shit with Ryan's dick. Okay, like it's one of the ugliest human beings I've ever seen. Something. That's saying a lot.
Dad's Den of Pop Culture for 5. Do the budget explosions have anything to do with ESG? They need to pay for woke content. I think the budget explosions have a lot to do with how terribly managed Hollywood is in general.
I swear on Titanfall 3 being made that I have used Waldabeest forever and a day intentionally. That's me swearing. That's next to me swearing on my family. That's the best swear I can give you is swearing on the future development of Titanfall 3.
I believe Jeremy because he's fucking retarded. So it would not surprise me for his entire life. He said Waldabeest and all the trailer park agreed.
Well, tell me, like when you say, when you call something a wildebeest, like does that not, but if you say call a Waldabeest, does that sound like a fat, nasty piece of shit? Doesn't it?
No, it sounds like you're mispronouncing wildebeest.
No, but like Waldabeest sounds like a fat, disgusting, overweight, ugly thing.
I mean, it does because of the context that you used it in.
That's true.
But yeah,
that's true.
Waldabeest. Paul S for 5. Thanks, Harrison Ford, letting Disney crap on your most iconic character. Also changed my mind. Cast Harrison Ford as the live action Abe Simpson. I can't believe Harrison Ford still like wants to do all this stuff. He's like now committed for a multi-film.
How old is he now?
He's 80. He's older than Joe Biden, I think.
Jesus.
Did you see the Conan O'Brien thing?
No.
See if I can pull that up. It was pretty funny.
What? So, and then again, I want to say hello to. Holy shit, man! Rumble's got 600 people. We're not even on the front page or anything. Like we're not. Awesome. So at least I didn't see this earlier. Let me confirm. Yeah, we are not on. We are not on the front page of Rumble or anything that I see. We got 600 people watching us over there. That is crushing. We got 100 people on Kick. So yeah, thank you guys for being here.
Here, I think this is it. Why can't I hear this shit?
Are you gonna play?
Yeah, what?
Ryan died.
What do you mean?
Ryan died. No.
I can see nothing happened to me.
You froze.
Could you hear me?
You skipped out for a second.
All right. I love the internet here. Here. I think this is it.
Go to an Irish/German father.
Well, if that's the quality of your research. And I imagine it is, because right there it says Harrison Ford, and then you had to write down Han Solo.
Yeah, I did.
You can't fucking remember that?
No, I can't. I can't remember Han Solo.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I wrote down because I heard that you were in some of the Star Wars films. And this was news to me because I've seen those films and I don't exactly think you pop.
Well,
I didn't recognize. I'm sorry.
Whoa.
But I mean, I remember Chewbacca. I remember the bad guy with the black helmet.
Uh-huh.
And then there's some people.
How come you're not still on television?
I like Harrison Ford as a grumpy old man person.
I do too.
I really fucking like him and his interactions that he has with other human beings.
Well, I've always liked Harrison Ford's angry, grumpy old man shtick. I just that thinking the fans bullshit was fake as hell.
Yeah,
that was fake. It was fake. It was Lucasfilm prancing him out to do a fake PR stunt because they know that they're failing miserably. And to me, it's more disrespectful than anything based on what they've been doing in the past few years and how people like me and you have talked about how it's important to respect the fans and respect the audience, and for them to continue to just thumb their noses up at us, and all the while they're losing their ass. And now suddenly let's prance out this legend to thank the fans and talk about how much of an honor it is. No, fuck you. That doesn't work for me. I don't give a shit who it is. It doesn't feel genuine. And I know Harrison Ford doesn't fucking mean it. Yeah. It's not like when Tom Cruise is out there doing it. It's not like Chris Pratt's out there doing it. You know what I mean? That's my problem with it. It's not to disrespect Harrison Ford. It's to disrespect the message that it's bullshit and it's disingenuous. I don't believe it.
And to be fair, when it comes to like Tom Cruise, it's like, does he really care that much about fans? It doesn't really matter because the product that he puts out shows that he cares about delivering good movies that aren't going to be filled with all this shit. He wants them to make the most money as possible, right?
Yes.
So at the end of the day, whether it is or isn't totally genuine, it doesn't matter. The result's the same.
We got copyright hit for that fucking thing, by the way.
Oh, God. Whatever. Fuck you, Conan O'Brien, you cocksucker. Harrison Ford for $5. What can I say? I'm 80 and they pay me to promote the film. I do my work, get paid, and go home. Let me roll a blunt and enjoy my remaining years. There you go. Also, the chat said that I didn't freeze, that you're the one that froze.
Really?
You did that, yeah.
Well, at least on the Rumble side, they saw you freeze because I'm capturing what I'm seeing.
Okay. Oh, that does make sense. Oh, on the Kick side, you mean?
Yeah, Kick. I'm sorry. Yeah, Kick.
Yeah, that makes sense. Lord Baratheon for 5. I think the most wild leak about Deadpool 3 is the third act of the movie takes place during other X-Men movies, which I think would be hilarious. Yeah, I think it's going to be wild.
See, they saw Ryan freeze. I think the chat's lying to both of us.
Probably.
I don't know.
Angry Goat for 10. Jordan Peterson interviewed Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard about Sound of Freedom. Tim talks about his life work and criticism of him, media and otherwise. It's amazing to hear from all of them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's a really good interview, actually. So,
I watched a good interview.
What?
I watched a good interview on YouTube on the Fresh and Fit podcast. That's all I'll say. So.
Yeah, I saw Nick Fuentes say the N-word in front of a bunch of black people. So That's basically where, like, that's basically where we've gotten to, like, with these like red pill fucking podcasts. Get a couple guys on there, surrounded by a bunch of dumb Miami bimbos, and then to spice it up, let's bring Nick Fuentes on and have him say racial slurs. Oh. I also, there was an answer from one of these girls who was describing why, like, she doesn't have respect for white people or something. And she was like, that's because y'all came here to Africa. You took all our scientists, all our alchemists, and you took all the good people and took it all for yourselves. It's like, yes, I'm sure in like the fucking 1700s that they took all your scientists and all the alchemists from Africa. It was wild. Let's see. Mike, my cum smells for 2. Wildebeest sounds like Alabama education. That's what I think.
Roll Tide.
Square root of 47 equals D-Day Cobra for 2. I think the word you're looking for is Yeti, Jeremy. All right, and we're all caught up.
We are all caught up. So, ladies and gentlemen, another one in the books. We got Mario Kart. It returns tonight here on the main Geeks and Gamers channel. Looking forward to that. And yeah, we got stuff going on this week. We got, you know, Mission Impossible coming out. Sound of Freedom is going to continue to crush it. Indiana Jones is going to continue to fail. We will go from there. What do you got going on, Ryan?
Nothing. Making more videos for here and Sports Wars and my channel, and that's about it.
Sounds fun. Sounds fun, Ryan. Sounds like you're a very positive place right now.
I am.
Yeah, he's the most positive man I know. He's more positive than Magic Johnson. I mean, that's how positive Ryan is, okay?
Magic Johnson's T-cell count is probably higher than mine at this point, with all the fucking drugs he's been taking.
So Mario Kart tonight here on the main channel. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow us on Kick. Make sure you follow us on Rumble. Shout out to a huge Rumble audience today as well. So thank you guys for tuning in on that platform. Follow us over there. 54,000 follows on Rumble. Crushing it. And other than that, thank you guys. Have a great day. And we will talk to all of you later.
Oh,
bye, everyone.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Real quick. I just saw this. They've got a high def version, high res version.
There we go. That does look a lot better.
Yeah. Just
That's
for anyone that thought it was
awesome.
fake, whatever before.
That's awesome, man. It's going to be good stuff right there. Can't wait. Cannot wait. So shout out to Deadpool 3. All right, guys. Have a good night. Have a good day. I'll see you for Mario Kart tonight. And we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.